of Education's capital budget request for fiscal years 2026 and CIP requests for fiscal years 2027 through 2031.
I move to approve CR 151, 2024.
Second.
I move to approve Amendment 1 to CR 151, 2024. Ms. Sager.
Sure. So Amendment
We need a
1,
second.
I'm sorry. Whoops, I went right past that. Go ahead.
Second.
sure. So Amendment 1 corrects the whereas clauses to reflect the action taken by the Board of Education after pre-file, and then substitutes those pages that reflect that subsequent action.
I think we're all reading the rest of this piece right here. Okay, Amendment 1 to CR 151, 2024 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I know, I guess I'll just add that we've actually discussed this quite a bit. We had a work session just on this one particular bill and spent maybe 2.5 hours talking about the capital funding for our school district. We've had a number of advocates who have attended our public hearings, our work sessions. They are here today. They have definitely been concerned about these issues from the very beginning and continue to be concerned. We too are concerned about the school capital. I think we have maybe different concerns. My primary concern, which I've expressed both at the public hearing 2 weeks ago and at the work session, is that we are simply not spending enough money, not enough county resources to really put a dent in what the school district needs to respond to all the capital needs. The school district has a nut right now of maybe $114 million just for renovation costs and systemic repairs. That doesn't even include all the money that is needed for help building new schools, which there are a number of those on the list. And we need to figure out how we're going to get our school district more capital funds. So that's my biggest concern about this particular bill, and I hope that Ms. Rigby and I are on a task force, HB 1450, which was put together by Delegate Chow Wu, and my hope is that maybe by the end of that task force, we will have figured out a few more things and a few more ways to designate funds to help the school district catch up with all these issues. Anybody else?
We're talking about Amendment 1 now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would say we have spent a lot of time talking about this. We have yet to have the right documents in front of us when we do. The way that the Board of Education has timed filing this bill to be on our legislative docket makes it so that we have only one choice, which is to approve it. Otherwise, we don't ask for state money this year. In our last quarterly meeting, our new Chief Operating Officer, Brian Hull, our new Chief Financial Officer, Cornell Brown, and Superintendent Barnes made the offer to please let us know, dear council, what can be done to improve processes as regards school budget. Number 1 on my list is making us a real participant in this first process. Number 2 on my list would be just what Ms. Young said, which is cajole the executive into dedicating more of the ample funds we have on hand to do more of the work that are on all of these lists that ensue. But as recently as last Tuesday, we did not have these amendments. Our agenda specifies when the board changed its mind again on September 26th and October 10th, the actual first submission was due to the state on October 4th. And we didn't have these new amendments. The Board of Education didn't bother to send them to us until, our own staff made copies for us in the work session. And I assume that they were filed as usual amendments, as though it wasn't, a big deal. If we are truly to be part of this, we should be extended the courtesy of having some say in it and not just a rubber stamp. I do not enjoy being a rubber stamp. I will not be a rubber stamp. see future votes here.
Anybody else? No. Okay. Ms. Harry, can you please call the vote on Amendment 1 to CR 151?
Chair Young,
Yes.
Dr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Rigby,
I mean, this has not been out of course. This has been the process for 6 years. I think it's typically been filed in October or September. And I know we've asked the question in past years if there's opportunity to change it. And the directive has come back pretty solidly that this is the Board of Education's purview and it's not the county council's purview. So I would have some concerns about overstepping our legislative role in this. There's supposed to be checks and balances of power, and spheres and areas in which different entities have control over. And education policy has traditionally been the state, not the county. But I do want to appreciate the work of the board, the superintendent, also the ISC and the state folks, because they've been working to improve this process. And I really hope as a county, we'll have realistic and achievable plans in the short term, but also couple that with an achievable funding plan, because we need to build the revenue to build the schools. So if we're all aligned on building the schools, then we just need to be aligned on how to get there. And so I look forward to getting there with the community.
and your,
Yes.
Okay.
And my vote's yes.
Ms. Walsh,
Amendment 1 to this council resolution embodies the changes that the Board of Education made to the superintendent's proposed budget pursuant to council or to House Bill 1450 that two of our colleagues sit on the activating commission for. The board was supposed to, within 30 days of its difference from that superintendent proposed budget, post publicly its reasons therefore. And as recently as half an hour ago, at least my staff is not able to locate such state law mandated disclosure. None of this makes sense to me. My vote to Amendment 1 is no.
Mr. Youngman,
Yes.
All right. CR 151, 2024. I'm sorry, Amendment 1 to CR 151 passes. So CR 151, 2024 as amended has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on that?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
I mean, we are in that rock and hard place where if we say no, then they can't move forward. But, I mean, they're clearly in violation of some policy if we haven't gotten what Liz just brought up. Like,
Dr. Jones? Are you sure? Go ahead.
because I
Okay.
just, and frankly, having the information, I don't know if it would impact our decision, but it's like this nagging thing that keeps happening that I guess we've already talked about it. It's what we talked about 5 minutes ago, is that we don't have the information and we don't want to leave millions of dollars on the table, so we just kind of like blindly go forward, and it's just frustrating.
Ms.
So I do
Rigby?
think Dr. Brown is on it.
He does seem to be on it. I would agree. Ms. Rigby?
I mean, last year we tabled this, gave additional time, communicated, and it still didn't change anything. I just don't find, this is not it hasn't been a great process for 6 years. And they have a committee together to address it for the capital needs. You have the work of the COP Commission on building materials and building methods that the state completed. The ISC is continuing their efforts at the state level to, because this is not a unique Howard County problem. This is a statewide problem. It's a nationwide problem. The physical state of our schools is a nationwide issue. I don't think anything that we do tonight is going to make a difference in this process, except for potentially jeopardize those funds and spend more of our time on this issue. And it's not that I don't want to spend more time on the issue, it's that we've been asking for sort of data over decibels for years. And I feel like we're finally getting the things in place to do it. And I'm glad that those conversations are happening, because That hasn't happened the last 6 years. So we're finally getting these people together. I think the board absolutely should follow state law and submit their testimony, but I don't think anything that we do here tonight is going to change any of that. I mean, they amended it and put their out years like crazy. That happens every year. Everybody up here knows that we don't even have that bond money to do that. So I don't understand the point of delaying.
Dr. Jones?
Yeah, you mentioned that if we didn't vote for it tonight, that it could, cause a ripple effect. Is it worth calling a emergency or special session for a few minutes before our public hearing in 2 weeks to talk about when we're going to be together anyway? I don't know that 2 weeks would make a difference, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
For what it's worth, even though I was agreeing with what Liz said, not necessarily in favor of tabling it, because like Christiana said, like, we tabled it last year, and it's like, we didn't really know
Table it
anymore.
last year.
I mean, if everybody wanted to, I wouldn't mind, but I'm not advocating that.
Ms. Walsh?
No, I think it's putting the council in the place of muddying the waters that we didn't throw the dirt into more. Like, what's the point of that? And, I have my District 1 representatives out there that are just grateful to even be on it and don't want to jeopardize that. So said, please don't mess it up, Liz. I have the benefit of being on a panel of 5 that only needs 3 votes, though. And the section of the state law that became code, because something did result from last year. One is we have a new superintendent. And 2 is that our state delegates got involved, and not just all, some state delegates, but particularly Courtney Watson, who first served on the same Board of Education, then served in this same District 1 office, and then as a state delegate coming and seeing what's going on now versus what her experience was, said this is not right. This is not what has happened before. None of this makes sense to her. So she got support to enact HOCO, I keep saying HOCO, it's House Bill 1440, but it's specific to Howard County. And it required, if the capital budget approved by the Howard County Board of Education has differences from the Howard County Superintendent of Schools' proposed capital budget, the Howard County Board of Education shall publish a report on the Howard County Public School System's website within 30 days that includes all manner of stuff we have yet to see. I mean, if they're not going to do that, they're not going to give us a better explanation in 2 weeks' time. And again, I don't think we should insert ourselves into a botched process, but I think changes did result from our continuing plea that they get it right, and we're not there yet.
Any more comments? No. Okay. Ms. Herrick, can you please call the vote on CR 151, 2024 as amended?
Chair Young,
Yes.
Dr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Rigby,
Yes.
Ms. Walsh,
I know it's a privilege as the 4th voter, following 3 yeses, and I will take that as a W, and, all that W entailed for the last number of years. I abstain.
Mr. Youngman.
Yes.
All right, CR 151.